everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tracy. I am a part-time reseller on Poshmark, and today I got another what sold video for you. But first, before we get into that, Mr. Ratchet is here to say hello to the people, right? Are you gonna say hello? Hello. All right, let's get into this what sold video here. I was going to do my what sold weekly, but my very next video would have been, I don't know, starting May 14th, and my sales were very slow that week. So I decided to do a 2-week what sold. Sales have been kind of slow and a lot of bread and butter, but I don't know if it's what they call the summer slowdown or not. But like I said, I sell part-time on Poshmark, so I don't expect a whole ton of sales all the time. And I'm happy with what's sold. So let's get into it. All right, so these sales are from May 14th through May 28th. The first week I had 10 sales, and the second week I had 18 sales. So I'm going to move over a little bit so I can pop up a picture of the item that's sold here. The first one is these lot of 34 wooden stamps for scrapbooking or whatnot. I picked these up last summer at a garage sale. The lady actually talked me into buying them. I can't remember what she wanted for them originally, but she's like, take the entire box, please. I'll give them to you. I think it was like $4. So I did. Probably something I will not pick up and try to sell anymore. It's just, for one thing, the 34 of them almost maxed out the 5-pound limit that you have on Poshmark. So yeah, I just probably won't sell them. But this lot of 34 of them sold for $15, making my earnings 12 on Poshmark. Next is this Lennox Mary Lights candle holder. I just got this here, I'd say, oh, well, it was at the church sale. So maybe 2 months ago. So it probably sold within a month. It didn't sell for much. It only sold for $10. But I only paid $1 for it there. So a little bit of profit on that. Next is a J. Jill Wherever collection. This was a pair of black pull-on full leg pants, and I got them at Goodwill for off the $2 rack, and they sold for $20, making my earnings $16. Next, I got this at a garage sale last summer, I believe, for $1. This is vintage sleeveless Jordan basketball jersey. I had a lot of interest over the last year for it, but nobody would bite the bullet on it. But that sold for $15, making my earnings $12. Next, I picked this up at Goodwill off the $2 rack. It was a new at Tag CJ Banks coral button-up linen blend jacket. It was a lightweight jacket. It had a drawstring waist. It was a really pretty color, great for summer. It sold for $20, making my earnings $16. Next, this is when I first started reselling. You know, you learn as you go what to not pick up. This was one of them. It's just a basic Walt Disney tee. Nothing special. I think I paid $2 for it at Goodwill, and it sold for $14, making my earnings $11.05. Something I probably, unless it's a really cute character or something like that, I probably won't pick it up. Or a vintage one, of course I would. Next is a pair of soft surroundings. These were a pair of pull-on pants. They were like a really fine corduroy. I actually bought these off of Whatnot. So my cost of goods probably was right around $5 or $6 with the shipping. I thought they would sell faster and for more, but they didn't. They only sold for 15, making my earnings 12. They were super soft and they had these cute little ankle zippers. And I've also kind of learned that I don't like to buy off of Whatnot too much because of all the extra shipping. If you could combine all your purchases in one, that'd be awesome, but most of the times you can't, and I just tend to notice that I don't do very well on things I buy off of Whatnot. So next, I just got this, and I just spoke in one of my previous videos about brass items that I pick up, almost anything brass, because it always seems to sell. And this was a vintage seashell trinket box that I got at an estate sale in a box of multiple things. So it probably only cost me about $1, and it sold really quickly, like maybe within a week, for $20, and my earnings are 16. These I talked about in a previous video also, that I just picked these up. They're vintage 80s owl wall hangings. They're by Foam Craft. And I think I paid 25 cents a piece at them at the church sale, and they sold for 15, making my earnings 12. These right here are another one of them items that I picked up when I first started reselling at Goodwill off the $2 rack. They were the brand YMI, high-rise skinny jeans, and they had like a snake print on them. They were new with tags, and I think that's one of the reasons why I bought them. But they've been listed for almost 2 years, and they finally sold for $17, making my earnings $13.60. Next are these women's Ariat cowgirl boots. These I got free from a gentleman that was throwing away all his granddaughter's cowboy boots. And they were in kind of rough condition, so I tried to condition them as best as I could, cleaned them up and conditioned them. And they were really loved and wore in and broke in, but they did sell. It took about a year. They sold for $36, making my earnings $28.80. So not bad for a free item. Next is a plush I got from the bins. So my cost of goods is usually around $1 for my items from the bins. It was a SeaWorld Emperor Penguin plush, super cute, soft. It was really clean. It sold for $15, making my earnings $12. This one right here, I just spoke in a previous video and told a little story about purchasing it from a older woman's garage sale. She only wanted 25 cents for it, but I paid her $1 for it. And it was this vintage Walt Disney Productions made in Japan, Florida mug. It had a cute little bird on it, and then on the back side it said Florida. It sold within days for $20, making my earnings 16. So awesome. I love fast flips. I do. Next is something from my closet that hasn't fit me for a really long time, but I finally listed them and they sold. And they were a pair of amethyst low-rise capri pants. They sold for $13, making my earnings $10.05. So something from my closet. I'm happy with that. Next are these overall shorts. They were black. They were by the brand City Chic. I got them from Goodwill for $2, sold for $15, making my earnings $12. Next is these Old Navy black extra high rise wide leg jeans. I got them about a month ago from Goodwill off the $2 rack, and they sold for $18, making my earnings $14.40. And I talked about Old Navy. It seems to sell for me, so I'm not scared to pick it up. Next is this Michael Kors shirt. It was green and it had like a gold chain print all over it. I picked that up at Goodwill quite a while ago, and I said how I'm not going to pick up Michael Kors anymore because it seems to sit. I'm probably going to try and stay away from this brand just because it sits in my closet. It does not do very well. And all of a sudden now they're all selling, which I'm happy because I probably won't pick them up anymore. So happy to see them go bye-bye. But this one sold for $15, making my earnings $12. And I don't think I have any more Michael Kors, so happy. Next, I just picked these up about a month ago at Goodwill they were on the clearance for $1.99. A pair of Born Black leather women's preppy Oxford shoes. They sold for $21, making my earnings $16.80. Next, my husband actually picked out at Goodwill when he was shopping with me one day. But it was this vintage 80s play school Dapper Dan doll, dress me doll. You could tie his shoes, and he had a zipper and a button. We paid 99 cents for him. This was about 2 months ago, I think. It sold for $15, making my earnings $12. I think on the very same day, I picked up these. They're a pair of McRae Gore-Tex tan Army Combat military boots. They had never been worn. They were brand new. I think I paid $9.99 for them, and they sold for $40, making my earnings $32. Another pair of pants that I picked up almost 2 years ago at the beginning of my reselling journey here were these red, they were like a brick red pair of Ellie skinny pants. I probably paid $2, maybe more for them, but they sold for $10, making my earnings $7.05. Happy to see them gone as well. And it's funny, all the jeans that I'm selling, a lot of jeans I'm selling are skinny jeans. So next, I just picked these up at that same estate sale that I picked up the seashell trinket box. These, and I got multiple of them in a box for $5, and I just separated them into different lots. And this is a set of 4 seashell Tervis tumblers. These were the shorter ones. So I probably have like $1.50 into them. They sold for $25, making my earnings $20. These, I went to a church sale last summer, bought a box of toys, and in the bottom of the box were these IKEA finger puppets. And I was just going to redonate them, but I'm like, I'll just list them. So there was 10 of them, different characters. They sold for $8, making my earnings $5.05. Not much of an earnings, but they were in the bottom of the box. Why not try and sell them? Next is another plush I got from the Goodwill outlet bins. Probably $1 into it. It was My Pillow Pet's Dizzy Dragon plush pillow. It sold for $15, making my earnings $12. Another item from the bins, and I don't usually pick up Build-A-Bear plush because there's just so many of them, but this one had a cute little corduroy outfit on it. The shoes were corduroy and the skirt was corduroy, and then she had a little purse. She was pretty cute. She sold for $15, making my earnings $12. Next, another pair of pants that have been listed a really long time. Another pair of skinny pants. These were Adriano Goldschmied. They were blue. They were called the Stilt Cigarette Pants. And I picked them up at Goodwill almost 2 years ago. Probably paid $2 to $3 for them. They sold for $14, making my earnings $11.05. Next is a Goodwill item I found. Off season 2, I think it was just probably 3-4 months ago, were these 2 sets of 4 Lenox holly and berry napkin rings, and I paid $1.50 a box, and they sold for $22, making my earnings $17.60. And my last sale, and the most exciting of the 2 weeks, and my best sale, is this vintage large JanSport backpack. If you watched my previous haul videos, you'll see it. I paid $5 for it at a garage sale. And I listed it for $75. And on day 2, it sold for my full asking price of $75. So my earnings for that was $60. So that was exciting. I don't get many full price sales. When I do, it makes me extremely happy. But so that is it. And that was over 2 weeks for me. Like I said, not the greatest of sales, but consistent, I guess. I appreciate everybody watching. If you like this kind of content, give me a thumbs up. And if you really like this kind of content, hit that subscribe button. There'll be many more videos to see. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye. Are you going to make an appearance, Ratchy? Huh? Are you? So let's get into it. I got my notes here for... Yeah. But I really appreciate you guys watching. I've got a... scratch that.